It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
It is your real estate property show right across Australia, from Mackay and Rockhampton to Canberra and Hobart. Gee, we haven't heard from Hobart for a while. Good morning if you are in Tassie. And we are streaming on your favourite platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And don't forget about our voice message service. Super easy. The link is below in the show notes. You might have a real estate tip for everybody, or you just might want to tell us how your property journey is shaping up and going. And of course, you can send us an email as well. It is a Thursday morning, February the 5th, and unfortunately since Tuesday you have probably been working out your expenses to cover the RBA's cash rate increase, making mortgages across Australia more expensive.
The RBA's target for inflation is 2.5%, and data for the December quarter showed year-ended headline inflation was 3.6%, underlying inflation was 3.4%. High inflation hurts all Australians. The board now thinks it will take longer for inflation to return to target.
So a lot of people are hoping the Reserve Bank is one and done with the rate hikes, but should they be expecting the RBA to undo or reverse more of last year's rate cuts?
The board has taken a cautious approach. They've made one rate rise this time, and we'll observe now what happens to financial conditions. We're already observing some tightening in financial conditions, including through the exchange rate a bit, and we'll wait and see what the response of some of the credit, housing, those sorts of things. I'm not predicting there'll be more rate rises, but I'm also not saying that if inflation does remain too high, that there mightn't be. Now, I know this is not the news that Australians with mortgages want to hear, but it is the right thing for the economy. I do understand that for mortgage holders, this isn't a great outcome. Having said that, what's also not great for them or for anyone else is if inflation remains elevated. The price level has gone up 20 to 25% over the last few years. That's, I think, what's hurting people. The board still has basically the same strategy. They're still looking to bring inflation down without giving up so many of the gains we've had. This interest rate rise has it comes across quite negatively. We're actually in a really good position. The labour market is really strong and domestic demand is recovery. These are good things, but it's just that we're supply constrained.
That is Michelle Bullock from the press conference on Tuesday afternoon. Some of Australia's most desirable lifestyle markets have just gone into another gear, and it's happened rather fast. Just when you think, surely there is not another gear in this motor vehicle. We're talking house prices jumping hundreds of thousands of dollars in a single quarter, as reported by Domain. Coastal hotspots, lifestyle suburbs, even once safe middle ring areas are suddenly out of reach for a lot of buyers. And the speed of it is what's really catching people off guard. Just as you think you've seen everything, you haven't, as it turns out. Let's take you to the Gold Coast and catch up with Josh Logan-Pye from Ray White in Surfers Paradise. We might have an increase in mortgages, but let's bring in some of the golden sand and sunshine on our Thursday morning. And welcome into the Real Estate Breakfast. And how was that Christmas New Year vibe on the Goldie this year?
Yeah, thanks, Craig. As everyone would know, the Gold Coast is just an absolute beautiful place to be over that Christmas time and that New Year period. But we saw a huge amount of tourists coming into the area. We see a lot of people at that time of year flocking in, enjoying the beautiful weather and the sand. But a lot of people are looking up here to move. A lot of people coming through our inspections and our open homes and having that curiosity bug when they move up here to really start envisioning themselves living up here. So that time of year, we definitely get a lot of people from Sydney, Melbourne, flying up and looking at property. So it's a great time of year for us.
That's really interesting, isn't it? Because so many people, when they go on holiday, we've talked about this before, Hervey Bay is one of our talking points in Queensland. That is exactly the same. People fly in there, they take a look around and say, gee, I could actually live here, no problems at all. Gold Coast, that is next level for sure. And the Gold Coast is this standout location in places like Surfers Paradise, Main Beach and Benowa. House prices have jumped more than 330 grand in just 90 days. I mean, this is not a slow burn. That's a blink and you're going to miss it. It has pushed medians well beyond the $2 million mark. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. The main reason for that at the moment is that, as we said before, people get up here, they envision their lifestyle here. We've got great access to beaches. We've got hospitals out through there as well. The houses there are beautiful. People really love living in the close proximity to everything in through there. So, yeah, it's definitely on the rise and people are moving in fast, which is fantastic.
So we are into 2026. It is February now. So how busy are you at the moment?
Yeah, incredibly busy. This is our peak selling period and our peak meeting buyers period as well. Every weekend, we're running multiple inspections on Saturdays and Sundays as well. And the amount of people that we do meet, it's actually not that surprising. It might be surprising to others, but it's just incredible. There's a lot of good vibes up here at the moment. There's people around. Prices are going up and property, are selling fast. So it's a good time for everybody.
Yeah, I say that, there's 330 grand in just 90 days, this massive jump. I mean, this has got to be surprising real estate agents that this jump has occurred. And it's not just beachfront glamour either. You look at Broadbeach to Burleigh, that saw another 250,000 added in a quarter. I mean, these are family and lifestyle areas, not fringe suburbs, and buyers seem to be just piling in pretty rapidly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a compounding effect of lifestyle amenities in through here. It's a very active community as well. We see a lot of people going down to the beach, walking around, running, the schooling in through here, the shops. I mean, the amount of restaurants and cafes, it's the reason why everybody's coming in through here. And the great thing about those stretches as well, from Broadbeach to Burleigh, we have a lot of these small commercial centres that up and down the stretch of the highway through there. You've got boutique shops and restaurants and cafes and bars and everything. The nightlife's fantastic. It's a really nice place to live, and they've got the light rail coming in as well. So it's making it a lot of easy access for people to get from Burleigh up to Broadbeach to Pacific Fair to the shopping centres and getting down into Surfers Paradise if they're up here on holidays, or even locals just using that public transport, just making it a lot easier for everybody to get around.
I think you should work for the Gold Coast Tourism Board, eh? You're really selling it.
Yeah, absolutely. If they want to ring, they've got my number.
Now, remote hybrid working, I mean, this is such a big thing since COVID. It has got this lifestyle pull. Interstate migration you've talked about the confidence. We've got the local economies in certain parts of Australia that seem to be heading in the right direction. One of the interesting aspects to all of this is that people are choosing where they want to live first. I think this is something that has changed over the last couple of years, but particularly in hotspots where you've got to transact reasonably fast, and we're talking about the Gold Coast here. They say, right, where do we want to live first? And then they figure out how to make the numbers work later. Is that something you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. People choosing their lifestyle location to move into before they make that decision. But we see that all the time. People coming in, they see the property, they envision themselves living here, they look at it, they purchase the property and they think, hey, look, how are we going to make this work? And they figure it out as they move forward. Just because it's just there's so much opportunity up in the Gold Coast, it makes it an easy transition just with everything that we've got going on up here when they make that decision.
All right, we are talking to Josh. He is in Surfers Paradise, a very nice spot to be. When we come back, we'll talk about just how busy is the building at the moment going on the Gold Coast. And a little known fact, of course, most people know that Brisbane is just down the road, but how much of an attraction factor is that? We're back after this.
Decode the property market with insider knowledge and insights to better navigate your real estate journey.
Good morning to you, Bryce. Welcome to the Real Estate Breakfast. How many of those first home buyers do you know that talk openly about just how difficult it is saving for that deposit?
Yeah, we get quite a few that have really struggled in the past. They're still, scrambling these days. We also speak to a few, and this will be interesting, that I think as Joe Hockey said, go to the bank of mum and dads. We get quite a few that are getting a leg up at the moment, which is very nice.
So tell us a little bit about the investors. They're about, 50% of the people that are buying into your area?
Yeah, that's correct. About 12 months ago, we didn't see a lot of investors. We probably had about 10%, and then that dramatically shifted. And yeah, as you said, we now have about 50% investors. Some buy directly through us and some use buyer's agents, which has been a new phenomena in this suburb. We haven't had buyer's agents contacting us as much before.
It's the Real Estate Podcast, talking properties from 6 a.m. every day from every corner of the Australian real estate market.
It is a Real Estate Thursday. We are on the beach in Surfers Paradise with Josh this morning. Josh, I want to talk about the building, which is definitely on the rise. It's something that has absolutely been going gangbusters. Some of these rather larger developers are operating there on the Gold Coast. There's this huge emphasis on luxury lifestyle. Just how busy have you seen that over the last 12 months and some of the transactions that you're dealing with?
Yeah, it's definitely increased dramatically over the last 12 months. Whether you're driving from Burleigh or to Surfers Paradise, you're driving up and down, you can see construction, cranes, buildings are going up everywhere. And that gives a lot of confidence back into people looking to move into the area. They see construction happening, they see a lot of infrastructure coming in through Surfers Paradise and through the Gold Coast. They start to see that and think, wow, this place is on the move. Let's get in now. Let's take this opportunity before it starts going a little bit further above our price point.
One of the things that used to take place, and this is pre-COVID, people living in Brisbane, many of them decided, well, we like the lifestyle of the Gold Coast. Why don't we do the commute? Because if we sell up in Brisbane, boy, we are banking a lot of money. That's kind of changed, just as these prices have been skyrocketing. Is it still a factor? Because we know that in reverse, you've got Brisbane just down the road. It's not that far away from the Gold Coast, and that is a bit of an appetite for people.
Yeah, most certainly. We're only 45 to 50 minutes away from Brisbane, so it's not that far of a commute. You can drive straight up onto the freeway, but you've also got trains and the Brisbane airport up through there as well. So it makes it really accessible from people from Brisbane to move down into Surfers Paradise. But we do see people on the weekends taking the advantage. They'll come from Brisbane, they'll come down and use the beaches, and then they'll start thinking about, why do we have to commute all the time? Why don't we just make the move to live here full time?
You're still seeing these people selling up in Brisbane and making the move, given the price now has really tightened up?
I feel that people are choosing lifestyle and where they want to live. And then, as we said before, they will make it work happening moving forward. So people definitely deciding that, I want to live somewhere where I want to live. I want to get out of the hustle and bustle, move south down to the Gold Coast and enjoy the lifestyle that it has.
How long have you been living, Josh, on the Gold Coast?
I'm coming up my second year. Actually, I'm one of the people who migrated from Newcastle. We saw the lifestyle up through here. We came up here on holidays and thought, you know what, let's make this work. And we made it work. And we were one of those people that just moved and made it work. So pretty fortunate that we made the choice a couple of years ago. It's heaven on earth up here. It's great.
Apologies to all of you in Newcastle this morning. I'm sure he doesn't mean that, do you, Josh?
No, I've got family there. I have a soft spot for that place, but no, we love it up here. It's a great place in the Gold Coast.
Nice save. All right. Well, great to catch up with you and find out just what is happening at the start of February there in Surfers Paradise and the Gold Coast. Enjoy your Thursday. Thanks very much for coming on to the Real Estate Breakfast this morning.
Thanks, Craig. Have a great day.
We help to break down real estate every day to help you better understand the Australian property market.
Everything with a bit of land that I'm selling that's going to auction, we're finding that if there's 10 registered bidders, 8 of those are going to be investors compared to 2, which will be first home buyers, unfortunately. They are really sort of having to be forced to look at different options, which would be your apartments and your community title properties.
Just on terms of, buying off plan, how much have you been seeing of that lately?
Again, if you go back 5 years ago, selling something off the plan was a really challenging task. Today, people are sort of considering settlement's going to be in a year to 2 years' time where they'll have to come up with the money, and then they're factoring in the growth. And they're saying, well, I can potentially secure a property without having to pay for it whilst gaining that 5 to 10% growth before I even pay for it. And for people looking to downsize, sometimes it's a really good opportunity for them because they can get their ducks in a row, they can clear out the house without the pressure.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.